Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rossignol Cuda binding. They're kind of all mountain freestyle offering. That isn't that good. I rode this binding at Copper Mountain on a day that was overcast skies, snow falling, fresh snow on top of corduroy, old snow off the runs, and I rode it with my Telos Mike Ranquet and my K2 Thraxis boots. Let's talk about adjustability on this puppy. First things first, this is a one-size-fits-all binding, and by that I mean it fits from a size 8 to a 13. That's 6 different sizes that you can basically shove this into. 12 if you count half sizes. That creates a lot of problems, especially when you're moving that heel cup around, because that base tray is designed to fit the widest size boot, not the smallest size boot. So you got that going on right there. Basically, it's like they made a retail rental binding. So instead of flip cams, they put pop cams on this binding. You basically pinch it down and it does slide up or down. They have actually made these a little bit better than they were in the past, so they do lock in, but overall, they can still come loose. Then for the high back, you have 2 placements if you want to rotate it, and you also have your forward lean adjustment on there. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. Nothing too special about this. You can slide the toe ramp as well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's the tab right there for it. Whoop-de-friggin' do. Let's talk about the heel strap here. So it's of that 2-piece design with a hard plastic exoskeleton and then foam on the inside. The foam is actually relatively cheap. It is only connected at 2 spots. I had this actually bunch up on me. In there, at the end of the day, it's not really that remarkable. The toe strap is hard plastic. I mean hard. Like, there's a little bit of give, so it'll cradle over the toe of the boot. Nothing special here. These are pretty much frigging unremarkable. Well, it's got ratchets like most bindings, and you got your 1-finger quick release that'll help, you know, open or close. Now I will say this, with the heel strap, the ratchet could actually use a wide mouth feed just to make it easier just to engage with that ladder strap, but they climb well. They release easily enough. They're a little sticky. I assume that they'll break in over time. These were relatively brand new. There's nothing special to these bindings or these ratchets. With the high back, there's a little bit of natural forward lean, so if you're one of those guys that likes a true zero high back, you're probably gonna be pissed off. Otherwise, it's a high back. It does high back things. It's pretty much unremarkable like the rest of this binding. You don't really have to count on it to do anything. The forward lean adjustment is quick and easy. You flip it down, it slides down, slides up, you lock it back in, you're good to go. These bindings do come in past a middle of the road flex. They're on the stiffer side. You'd notice that right away. A lot of that is due in part to the size of the disc. This thing is friggin' absolutely huge. It creates a big dead spot underfoot. And then you look at that base tray and it is just monstrous. Basically, all that stiffness comes from that heel cup and that base tray, which, because these are one size fit all, you've got more material than you probably actually need on there. Overall, it's a dead flexing binding. You just don't really notice it. It's stiffer. It's all mountain in the sense that that's where they put the marketing on it. So how's the ride on these things? Well, if you rode Rossignol bindings in like 1999, it's still the same. Nothing's literally changed. I'm convinced that other than adding the ICS holds to the disc, this is the exact same disc that they were selling 20 plus years ago. It feels like a giant dead turd that's been baking in the sun, turned white, and Will Ferrell might lick it. So who's this binding for? The all-mountain rider that wants weird adjustments, and I mean weird. So it's obvious I don't like this binding, so let's get right to it. I'm going to address this to Rossignol France because they're the ones that keep dictating that the rest of the world that Rossignol sells in should have a friggin' rental binding as their retail binding. One size fits all is not a good approach for retail. Rental? Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It makes things a little easier. But for retail? No, it doesn't. This binding is horseshit. It was horseshit the last time I wrote it. You'd figure that while everyone else is progressing and figuring out ways to like reduce their weight and materials and everything, you're over here just injecting more and more and more into it. This is a horrible binding. The fact that you think that the smallest size and the biggest size can share the same chassis, awful. Just god awful. And this disc, it's crap. Like, why? You have the money, you have the funding, you have the design capabilities. Your boards are actually good. Why can't you design a real frigging binding? Do you need to talk to me? Let's talk. Hit me up. Your people know how to get a hold of me here in this country. Let's discuss making a real binding that actually works. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, Avran, this binding that you want to make, it costs so much money. Would you like some cheese? Yeah, because I'm using French stereotypes and my last name's LeFeber, so I can get away with it. Fuck this binding. That's all you need to know. You guys want to make a difference and you want to push a better product? Make a better fucking product. It's not that fucking hard. Your bindings are trash. Your boards are actually really fun to ride and you have some amazing boards. But then you put these hunks of shit on there and it becomes a bear trap on your feet. Seriously, get your shit together, Rossignol. Comparable bindings, and they're all better than this. The Union Force, the Burton Cartel, the K2 Formula. This has been my review of the Rossignol Cuda binding. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? God, I feel sorry for you if you own a pair. Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.